Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. A few of you have asked me, or did ask me, whether I was going to do the advent calendar opening that I've done for the last couple of years, and I think it's been pretty obvious by now that I am not, but I thought I would show you once again the backdrop that I often used for those openings as we get very close to the festive season. And what I am going to do, which I always try to do, is talk about my favourites for the year. It's usually more than one video because I do go on and on and on. So I'm just going to kind of work through the main face products. We may get to lips on this one, but probably not eyes, and definitely not nails. The only rule really for me in including things is that they've got to be products that I have either bought or used for the first time in the last year. They're not necessarily being released in the last 12 months, although I think most of them have, certainly in the format they're in. So let's start with the primers, I guess. Not a category I always talk about, but something I have been enjoying. I haven't shown you and talked about before. To be fair, I've only been using it for the last month or so, although you can see I've gone through it. And it's a by Terry Brightening Serum. So I don't think technically this is necessarily supposed to be a primer. They certainly don't call it that, but it's a product you can use multi-purpose, but you definitely can use it underneath your foundation, BB cream, whatever you're using, or on its own just to brighten and kind of cheer up the skin. I do like it. I have been using it a lot. What I really, really like about it feels like a treatment. So it's quite moisturizing for something that's going on under my foundation, and it definitely is brightening. Now I think they bring these out in seasonal editions, and the seasonal edition this year is much more rose colored than this white one that I chose. And my perception from reading about it and talking to the girls in the shop is that the slightly goldeny tan looking one is the most popular one, which probably does give more colour. I like a definite kind of glow boost, almost a shine. I don't like a matte look. It makes my skin look very flat. So what I'm looking for in a brightening product is definitely radiance, and the whites tend to give that. So this colour will not be for everybody, but the product might be. Having said that, the disadvantage is it's quite an expensive product. This bottle is about 62 pounds, which is pricey. You go through it quite quickly. As I say, I've gone through that in less than a month, so it's not going to last an age if you're wearing it most days. I would say if you're using this as a treatment under your makeup, it's excellent. If you're using it as a primer in the sense of blurring out pores, it's not going to be so great. It doesn't really do that. To be fair, it doesn't pretend to do that. And if you're using it as a brightener like me, I think it's very good. It's not my absolute premium brightener, which I still would give to the Becca Shimmering Perfector lotions, which definitely lighten under even high coverage foundation, whereas this one slightly less so. But it's a really nice all-round product. My favourite primer in terms of evening out pores, which is an issue for me with primers, is still the Tom Ford complexion enhancing primer, and coincidentally that's around the same price, about 60 quid's worth. So if your real concern is blurring out pores, then Tom Ford is the one for you. But as a nice all-round treatment primer, that's a great one. I've already done 5 minutes, so I'm going to have to speed up. Foundations. This year there was only one that I really liked, and it's this one. And I started off not being impressed at all because it's just such a different foundation coverage product from anything else I've ever tried. I didn't think it was really covering anything when I first used it. When I started to use it slightly differently, the way they show, using the brush to break down the spheres on a pump on the back of the hand, then I found, ironically, it covers better. It's not a full coverage foundation by any manner of means. It's just slightly evening out your tone, but definitely giving a really healthy, pretty glow on those days when you don't feel you want a full face of makeup. The real plus about this product is how it feels. It really feels really nice, comforting, almost wet, cooling on the skin. An excellent product in the summer or in hot climates, although you are going to need a sunscreen. Disappointing that there's no sunscreen in this, but I guess it's because it's a very heavily water-based product. But I really like it, and I haven't discovered anything else quite the same on the market. I think there are one or two other products that other people have talked about. I think there's a Clé de Peau, which is very similar. But for me, this is, something completely different on the market. Really liked it. I'll buy it again. And then BB cream. I don't use BB creams a lot. That I've only just started using, having finished up my Dr. Yart, which lasted for ages. This is a Korean brand, 3CE, really weird name. And this is called Back to Baby. I don't know if they do it in multiple colours. I think I bought this in Selfridges some time ago, but looking on the website, certainly I couldn't find it. And you may find difficulties getting hold of this in the UK. There are various sites where you can import it. My recollection is it was quite cheap, certainly very reasonably priced. And this colour is just excellent for me, as I find quite a lot of Korean products are, even though I'm not kind of yellow-toned, I'm kind of pink-toned, but very pale. Gives nice coverage, feels very nice, lasts really well, and works well in the pores, so it doesn't sink into my pores. So that's a favourite, and I'm not usually a huge fan of BB. Concealer-wise, the only concealer I think that really caught my eye this year was one that I got around this time last year in my Liberty Advent calendar, and it's the Trish McAvoy Instant Eye Lift. It does what it says on the tin. Again, it's a slightly pinky based under eye concealer, which is great for me. I have quite dark circles. Does the job. I still also like the Becca under eye cream. I think it's called the Under Eye Brightening Corrector. Is a creamier formula than this one, which is a lotion. This is slightly easier to apply. They both last well, and they both don't sink into the fine lines. So loving both of those. You all know I'm a highlighter fan, and you'll guess what's going to make the favourites this year because I've talked about them such a lot. It's the Dior Nude Skin Luminizers. I've got two here. This was my great favourite that I've talked about a lot. I just can't resist poking my fingers in and showing you that bright neon-y, pinky, bluey light in different casts as you move it about in the light. I've also got a pink one, and I've got a peach one. I can't remember what this one is that I pulled out the drawer. This is the peach one, I think, and very pretty also. I think they're just a lovely consistency, and they really last well, reasonably good value for premium products. So can't recommend them enough, and there's a huge range of shades. I also will go for Dior for my blush of the year. Didn't find anything amazing, but I like their Couleur Couture formulation. I've bought a couple of those. I really like this kind of plummy colour. It looks really vivid and it is quite pigmented, so I do have to apply it with a soft brush, but particularly at this time of year, it looks really, really pretty, and these last really, really well. That one, if you're interested, is called Poison Matte, but I got a couple of those. Again, I think fairly early in the year. Lipsticks, it wasn't a vintage year for me. I really, really like the Chanel reformulation of the Cocoa Flash that they brought out, I'm going to say early summer. I got a couple of those. Yeah, this is the one I've used a lot in a very kind of Your Lips But Better colour called Jour. Again, they're just a really beautiful hydrating formulation that give a kind of just bitten look to the lips. They don't last brilliantly, so you do have to keep reapplying, but that's not so big a chore. And those of you who don't like, there's kind of more berry one, gives a bit more colour. That's called Ardent. Those of you who don't like too much taste, they're definitely less fragranced than the old Chanel lip products used to be. Then very recently, I bought into the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. I missed out the first, I think, 2 lots, and indeed the first kind of round of this latest velvet one. You have to move quickly on her website. But I did get 2, one of the new releases, which I don't actually like the colour, so this will be going on eBay for sure. If I can even get it out of the, obviously open the wrong end there. Nothing wrong with the formulation. Very pretty packaging, very substantial. This is Velvet Fawn, one of the new ones, which I saw on various YouTube videos and looked really good on a lot of people, but it just shows how colouring is all, because on me it just looks a horrible kind of clay colour, really kind of dead girl. It's very 90s, I have to say, and just the wrong tone for me. So that was a bad mistake, and that's the problem with Lisa Eldridge products, because you're buying off the website. You can't try them out in a shop anywhere, and they're expensive. But I did at the same time buy one of the earlier releases, which is called Love of My Life, which isn't a velvet, and maybe I like this formula better. I really love the detail. This is much more my colour, very, very pretty mid-toned pink, and I've been wearing that a lot, and it's very, very nice texture on the lips, very moisturising, very pretty colour. So the formula is great. The last is average to good. Quite expensive, I suppose, for what it is, but if you like the packaging, you know, it's really beautifully done, and quality. This is heavy, you know, it's not some cheap plastic. And if you get the right colour, a really nice product. I'm not sure I would rush on the website personally again, a fan though I am of Lisa, because I think the, you know, Chanel products are just as good, or Tom Ford, whatever, and they're easier to try in store. But I do like that one. It is a favourite, certainly this last month. So there we are. I've run over time on the face and lips. The eyes I'm going to do separately, because it won't surprise you that there have been quite a few palettes that I've loved this year. So until then, bye for now.